Welcome to the ENRICH course. In this course, we are going to visit some of the central issues in English language teaching and, in particular, address in practical ways the different aspects involved in teaching English to multilingual classes and to classes that incorporate immigrant and refugee learners. The English as a Lingua Franca practices for inclusive multilingual classrooms, or ENRICH for short, project puts high priority on the promotion of teacher competences that are necessary for responding to and building upon the diversity found in today's multilingual classrooms across Europe. To this end, this continuous professional development course will empower English language teachers to integrate in their multilingual and multicultural classrooms the current role of English as a Lingua Franca, or ELF, that is, as the most frequently employed means of international and intercultural communication. To truly support learners in multilingual classrooms, including migrants and refugees, it is important to fundamentally rethink foreign language teaching in view of the demands of the current increasingly globalized world. This involves helping the learners develop communicative and other transversal skills, for example, cultural awareness, which are necessary for employability and social inclusion through languages of international communication, which increase mutual understanding and provide access to other countries and cultures. This, of course, requires a new set of competences for teachers. According to the European Union, English language teachers in particular should acknowledge the new role of English as a lingua franca in Europe and beyond as an inherently multilingual means of English medium communication among people from different lingua-cultural backgrounds and as a key ingredient for professional success. In this course, you will become involved in activities that will raise your awareness of the importance of English in connecting learners with each other, the local communities and the world, and are empowered to use innovative language teaching practices and cultural elements which are particularly appropriate to that end. The main target group of the project is English language teachers, or ELTs, in countries where English is taught as a foreign language. The ENRICH course is built on the premise that for children who grow up in a multilingual environment, other languages they use except their mother tongue, no matter how well, are not considered as foreign, but as a tool to communicate with people around the world. This primarily refers to English, which, due to its widespread use as a lingua franca, that is a common language in various domains of social and professional life, for example in business settings, has been de-foreignized to become common property, even for children themselves. Indeed, as research shows, despite their age, children nowadays use English to interact with people all over the world, even with people sharing their mother tongue, for example in social networks, where English is a symbol of modernity, thereby embracing it as theirs. The same holds true for migrant and refugee children, for whom English is also a bridge to host communities and a means for projecting their own socio-cultural values. However, English is still taught as a predominantly foreign language, that is, as owned by its native speakers, rather than as a shared language, which prevents learners from achieving their potential as efficient users of English. Research shows, in fact, that English language teachers prioritize areas which are found to be much less important nowadays. For example, native-like accuracy, native speaker culture, and they largely ignore the ways that the nature of English itself has changed, enabling mutual understanding, access to other cultures and self-expression, and communicative competence, for example, mediation and negotiation, and other transversal skills, for example, cultural awareness, that the learners, including migrant ones, must develop for their current and future interactions in ELF. A key reason for this is that ELF-related issues are not sufficiently covered either in teaching courseware or in large-scale teacher education projects across Europe, which highlights the urgent need for a transnational project like ENRICH that focuses on developing relevant teacher competences. In this introductory presentation, we will briefly refer to the contents of the course, its syllabus in other words, and the methodology followed. As you are probably aware, this course is a blended course in that it is partly provided online, the videos and all the materials are offered online or synchronously, and partly offline or asynchronously, in the sense that you will have contact with a tutor, or more properly called a mentor, but more about their role below. And we will also discuss, briefly again, the demands of this course. In other words, what activities and final assignments you are required to do in order to complete it. The course runs for a total of 20 weeks. We have estimated the study load that is needed in order to complete it, and therefore the credits offered following the European Union's European Credit Transfer and Accumulation System, or ECTS. You will need to study for about 15 hours per week, which makes the total amount of hours devoted to the course 300. And this includes everything in it. All of your obligations, watching the videos, reading, carrying out the activities, preparing and finalizing the final assignment. And provided one ECTS equals 25 hours of study, the credits allocated to the course are 12. In order for you to be able to have the ECTS of this course recognized in your context, particularly national regulations need to be taken into account. As an Erasmus Plus project, ENRICH can only offer the tools for that, a very strong and coherent rationale underlying its course, which justifies the number of ECTS being offered and the corresponding amount of workload required. This rationale should be employed in order for ECTS to be officially recognized at a national level. Let's have a look at the course outline. You have access to the course through the ENRICH platform. It is important to note from the outset that you can navigate this course however you want. If you believe you are knowledgeable about certain issues presented in some of the sections, feel free to skip them over, or better to leave them for later and come back to them. That said, we would strongly recommend that you view all the videos in the sections, as they are likely to present at least some information that you might not be aware of. In other words, although there are section numbers, which means that one particular section should be viewed before another section, the entire course is non-linear, if you wish it to be. This will largely depend on your training context. For example, if you are following this course as part of an academically offered course, or if entirely on your own. On the ENRICH Moodle platform, you can access each section in two ways. Either by clicking on the bubbles on the diagram, this would be the non-linear mode, or through a list where the titles of the sections will be one after the other in the order we want them to be. Our suggested roadmap as illustrated in your PowerPoint. You can see the list of contents in this slide. Following this introduction, the course is divided into three parts. Part 1, Using English, Part 2, Teaching English, and Part 3, Learning English. The titles of these parts reflect the actions we engage in when we are involved with English at any given moment. That is, we use it, we teach it, and of course, our learners learn it. There is an additional section which includes links to videos that should be useful to you. Finally, there is the final assignment section with information on the final assignment that you need to produce for this course. The course evaluation section has information on what you need to do in order to submit your evaluation for the course. The first part of the ENRICH course is concerned with using English. This part is concerned with the English used in interactions involving non-native users. There may be native users involved, but the discourse is essentially what is known as English as a lingua franca, or ELF. Here you will learn about ELF, a little bit about its history and key concerns, and of course, most importantly, how ELF discourse is uniquely different from the so-called native speaker English, and what communicational strategies are in order to enable effective interactions involving non-native users. In the same area, you will then learn about concerns that have to do with specific user contexts, those that involve multilingual speakers, immigrants and refugees, and you will also review the exciting notion of translanguaging, which refers to the use of multiplicity of language-based and other semiotic tools to bring about comprehensibility in ELF interactions. In the part Teaching English, we present the fundamentals of teaching and how different teaching contexts work. Among other things, you will learn about the importance of being knowledgeable about curricula, syllabi, courseware, and learner profiles, the role of methods and the function of the informed practitioner, and the centrality of lesson planning in professional development. The section on ELF-aware teaching will present the principles of being ELF-aware. Spoiler alert, this means a lot more than simply being aware of ELF. And you will be presented with many specific ways of adapting specific textbook activities and tasks to make them ELF-aware. The section on ELF content presents further insights about linking ELF with the EFL setting, more specifically prompting communicative language competences and the importance of metacognitive and metalinguistic awareness in ELF-aware teaching. Further information is provided in the language skills section, which shed light on how ELF-aware teaching can be linked to the teaching of oracy and literacy, whereas the section on cultures discusses with hands-on examples how the notions of big and small cultures can be invaluable in ELF-aware teaching. There is a section on different methods and approaches to teaching, and further you will learn how the well-known domains of task-based instruction, content and language integrated learning, CLIL, the wonderful world of information and communication technologies and language corpora can be skillfully incorporated within ELF-aware teaching. Section 2.4 is on assessment and the idiosyncrasies of incorporating ELF-awareness in a very important area that should not be overlooked. The Teaching English part of the ENRICH course ends with discussing lesson planning and evaluation. Here we present how you can develop lesson plans that will help you prepare your lessons and evaluate how the lesson went. The principles laid out in this section will be particularly helpful for your preparation of the final assignment for this course, so we urge you to pay particular attention to it. Finally, part 3 is on learning English. This part is concerned with the English language learner, how we as teachers can get to know them better, and how we can comprehend our own teaching and learning context. Remember, ELF-awareness is not only about being aware of ELF discourse or ELF communicational strategies, although these are very important, and it is not only about being aware of our teaching context. It is also about understanding how the use of English by our learners outside of the EFL classroom influences significantly their learning of the language. Let us now shift our attention from the content of this course to its methodology. The course uses the blended learning methodology. It incorporates an online and an offline experience. You can view the videos, which are in a sense the input of the program, at your own pace. You carry out the activities in each section, also at your own pace, and you are prompted and sometimes required to share your thoughts and responses to these activities on the online forum with the other colleagues. At the same time, there are many things to do offline. If you follow this course in an academic setting, then the mentors of the program will be there to support you, offer advice, and prompt dialogue. Then you have the growing community of English language teachers who follow this course. You are more than welcome to use the ENRICH forum to discuss your thoughts, worries, lesson plans, ideas for AlphaWare activities, problems, concerns, or whatever else you may wish. In the platform, you will find additional materials, links to videos, academic papers, a list of bibliographical references, and so on, that you may find useful if you want to delve deeper into certain notions. And last but not least, you have your own actual classroom that will be the springboard for experimentation with AlphaWareness and discussion with your learners and other stakeholders, the learners' parents, headmasters, or possible sponsors. As already mentioned, the main input or content of the course is in video form. Each section incorporates a video lecture on the theme of the section that is linked to a PowerPoint presentation. To see the content of each section, go to the sections page on the Moodle platform. First, read the part named Review Materials, which briefly introduces or reviews the topic of the section and then presents the video with the PowerPoint presentation that has the input of the section. You can download additional information on the section in the Supplementary Materials part. Finally, please remember to go to the part named Activities to carry out the various activities described in the video. And now a few words on the role of the mentor. In previous ELF-related teacher education programs that we've been involved with, we found that the information provided can be quite rich and the demands on the teachers who participate in the course rather hefty, especially as regards the critical reflections that teachers need to engage in. For example, you have to rethink many of the things you may have considered to be fundamentals up to now, and this is quite all right. This is why in ENRICH we provide an experienced teacher educator who will act as your mentor throughout the course. But what does an ENRICH mentor do, and what do they not do? Fundamentally, the ENRICH mentor is going to provide support. They will act as facilitators of dialogue, as emotional supporters, and as instigators of AlphaWareness in all its phases. Most importantly, they will prompt you to become an active participant in the growing AlphaWare ENRICH community. The ENRICH mentor will not tell you what to do. They do not necessarily know your teaching context, only you do. And we fully respect that and support your autonomy and informed decision-making throughout the course. And therefore, mentors cannot provide ready-made solutions. In fact, they shouldn't. This is entirely something you have to do. We hope you understand that. Having said that, mentors may provide some feedback to your suggestions, but the journey is yours to make, and you will gain immensely by going the distance based on your own strengths. It goes without saying that throughout this journey, you will have the unwavering support of your mentor and fellow participants. What about the more academic requirements of this program? As you have surmised, the ENRICH course has a final assignment that asks you to engage with the principles of AlphaWareness laid out in the course. Develop and teach a lesson plan and contribute your own evaluation of the lesson taught, again on the basis of the same principles. We will be revisiting the detailed requirements of this final assignment at various points along the way. For now, suffice it to say that what you will be asked to do is the following. First of all, design a lesson plan that is based on the principles of health awareness and the other information presented in the course that you deem relevant and important. Then teach that lesson. Record the lesson if you can, and evaluate the lesson, again using the same principles and criteria laid out in the course. Before we end, we would like to highlight the importance of one of the most fundamental parts of the ENRICH course, and that is no other than the online forum. The forum is an online platform that is intended to help you communicate with your colleagues in the course. It offers a unique opportunity for exchanging reflections, experiences, experimentations, worries, and concerns that are related to the program. As you will see, most of the activities in the course sections are linked to the forum, so be sure to use it as much as you can. You can only learn from sharing your perspective with those of your colleagues. You will also have the opportunity to help your colleagues with providing your own feedback. The forum is there for you to make the best of. So please go to the forum now and introduce yourselves. Say a few things about yourself, where you are from, your teaching context. Also, say a few words about what you hope to gain from this program. All this will be invaluable, basically because this teacher education program is all about professional development, and we are firm believers in the importance of enabling growth through community sharing. And one more thing. We need to hear from you directly about your own perspective of the course. It is vital for the monitoring of the ENRICH program. So before you enter the course, please click the link under the video to respond to a simple questionnaire. It will help us identify your needs and address them more effectively. We will ask you to return to this after the final assignment in order to evaluate the course and provide valuable feedback about its effectiveness. Thank you for participating in the ENRICH course. We hope you find it useful and stimulating.